Kim, relax. No one cares about the real story. They want something dramatic, something they can connect to. Besides, this is my life now, not yours.
But it's a lie. You're lying to thousands of people.
They don't care if it's real or not. They want to be inspired, and I'm giving them that. Why are you always so boring?
It hurt to hear her call me boring, but more than that, I hated watching her exploit people as empathy. She didn't ever just stop at lying about our family. There was one time she told her followers she had been attacked by thieves, claiming they had shot her in the leg, forcing her to use crutches for a while. Truth is that never happened. People believed and pitied her and sent her money. She didn't stop there. She started crafting fake relationships, paying people to act as her friends, and even hiring a guy to pretend to be her boyfriend. She posted photos of them together with captions about how he was her rock and how they'd been through so much. Growing up, it seemed like every little thing I did turned into a competition with my younger sister, Leah. She wasn't content with just being herself. She wanted everything I had. If I got a new toy, she needed the exact one or something better. If I won a prize, she'd sulk and try to outdo me. It got to the point where I could barely enjoy anything without her hovering over me, trying to claim it as hers. It didn't stop there. Leah wasn't just competitive, she resented me for being born first. I remember even as kids, she would say things like,
"It's not fair, Kim. You get everything first. You're older. You're special just because you came out first."
"Leah, you're special too. We're both unique, you know."
"No, Kim, you don't get it. I wish I were the first. I'd be better at everything."
Her jealousy only grew as we got older. When I turned 16, I got a part-time job at a cafe. I wanted to save up for college, and I liked the independence of earning my own money. But Leah, she looked down on it immediately.
"Working at a cafe? Kim, are you kidding? Why would you waste your time like that?"
"I like it, Leah. It's honest work, and I'm saving up. Not everything has to be glamorous." She rolled her eyes and smirked as if she knew something I didn't. At the time, I just ignored her. I figured she'd find her own path. But Leah had no intention of working in a regular job or following anyone's rules but her own. When we graduated high school, Leah announced that she was going to become a social media star. She didn't want to waste her life waiting tables or working in retail like ordinary people. She was adamant about not wanting to work under anyone, and of course, her disdain for small jobs meant she looked down on me even more. She threw herself into her new career with all the intensity of someone determined to get famous overnight. She was smart about it, though. Leah knew that people loved a rags to riches story, and so she spun one for herself. Online, she portrayed herself as this struggling girl from a broken home, saying she'd faced hardship after hardship and had made it out on her own. Her following grew fast. Thousands, then tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of people followed her, believing every word of her so-called life story. Meanwhile, I watched in disbelief. She had taken bits of our life, twisted them, and crafted a complete lie out of it. Her online persona claimed that we came from a life of poverty, that our parents were absent, and that she had practically raised herself. The truth was, we'd had a comfortable childhood. Our parents weren't perfect, but they were loving, and we'd never known poverty. The whole thing was a farce, but her followers adored her. One day, I confronted her about it. "Leah, why are you lying to people? Our life wasn't hard, like you're saying. Mom and Dad aren't even on social media. But if they saw this, you know how bad it would make them feel."
"Kim, relax. No one cares about the real story. They want something dramatic, something they can connect to. Besides, this is my life now, not yours."
But it's a lie. You're lying to thousands of people.
They don't care if it's real or not. They want to be inspired, and I'm giving them that. Why are you always so boring?
It hurt to hear her call me boring, but more than that, I hated watching her exploit people as empathy. She didn't ever just stop at lying about our family. There was one time she told her followers she had been attacked by thieves, claiming they had shot her in the leg, forcing her to use crutches for a while. Truth is that never happened. People believed and pitied her and sent her money. She didn't stop there. She started crafting fake relationships, paying people to act as her friends, and even hiring a guy to pretend to be her boyfriend. She posted photos of them together with captions about how he was her rock and how they'd been through so much. When their relationship eventually ended, Leah staged a messy, dramatic breakup. She posted long, emotional messages claiming she'd been heartbroken and betrayed. She even made herself up to look as though she had been badly beaten by her boyfriend, painting him as a monster. She promised her followers that she had come out stronger. Her followers flooded her page with sympathy, even donating thousands of dollars to help her afford therapy. Leah basked in the attention and support. At this point, her fame was getting out of hand. Leah had thousands of fans who followed her every move, showering her with admiration and support. I was still working at the cafe and going to college part-time, and every time she saw me in my uniform, she couldn't resist commenting.
You know, Kim, if you had even a little bit of ambition, you wouldn't be stuck in that dead-end job.
Leah, not everyone wants fame. I'm happy working and studying.
Happy being lazy, you mean?
Her words stung, but I tried not to let them show. I told myself it didn't matter, that her insults couldn't change who I was or what I wanted in life. I soon got a boyfriend. When I met Andrew, I thought I'd found someone genuine. He was kind, funny, and understood me in ways I hadn't expected. So, a few months into dating, I introduced him to my family, hoping they'd be happy for me. It seemed like they were, and even Leah had given him a friendly smile. Soon after that meeting, Andrew started pulling away. His texts became short, his calls rare, and when we talked, it felt rushed, like he had somewhere else to be. I couldn't figure out what had changed between us, so one day I decided to visit him unannounced, hoping we could talk things out and maybe bring back what we'd had. But when I walked into his apartment, what I saw shattered me. There, lying beside him in bed, was Leah, my own sister. How could you both do this to me? Andrew, you? With my sister? Leah, you're so evil. I hate you both. Neither of them responded. Leah just smirked, as if winning a sick game I never knew we were playing. I felt my heart break right there, and the betrayal burned. I didn't scream, didn't cry much after saying those words. I just left quietly. I didn't speak about it, not even to our parents. I couldn't bring myself to. Leah didn't apologize, didn't even act like she'd done anything wrong. Instead, she went online and twisted the whole story. She told her fans she'd recently gotten a boyfriend, and that her jealous older sister had stolen him from her. She painted herself as the victim, and soon enough, her fans were up in arms, hating me even though they had no idea who I was. Then, one of her diehard fans managed to figure out who I was and where I worked. This fan stormed into the cafe one day, furious, yelling at me to apologize to Leah or face consequences.
You think you can just take Leah's boyfriend and get away with it? Apologize to her. You don't deserve her as a sister. You're a shameless fool.
I stood there, too shocked and hurt to say anything back. Leah's lies were now not just on the internet. They were affecting my real life. I knew I had to do something before things got worse. I reached out to Leah, hoping we could settle this privately. Maybe deep down she'd realize the pain she'd caused and come clean, but she refused to even talk to me, pretending as if I was the one who had done her wrong. That was the last straw. I wasn't going to let her smear my name like this. I created my own social media account, introducing myself as Leah's sister. I promised to tell the whole truth about Leah's life and how she'd lied to her fans. Within hours, people were curious and started following me, eager to hear my side of the story. I also showed our parents all the videos Leah had posted, and they were heartbroken by how she'd painted our family. Together, we did a video on my page where we explained that Leah's stories about growing up in hardship were all lies. My parents talked about how they'd always done their best to provide for us, how we were never neglected or abandoned as Leah had claimed. Then, I reached out to Andrew, who felt guilty for what had happened. He agreed to come forward in a video with me, admitting that Leah had stolen him from me, not the other way around. He told the truth about what she'd done, that she'd manipulated him, and that he regretted hurting me. As the truth spread, others started coming forward too. People Leah had paid to be her friends online, even exes who shared how she'd manipulated them. They shared screenshots, receipts, proof of payments Leah had made to keep up her fake relationships and build her fan base. It all went viral, and soon enough, Leah's perfect image crumbled. Leah's fans felt betrayed. They'd invested so much love and sympathy in her, only to find out they'd been used. Her follower count dropped by the thousands every day, and the ones who stayed only commented to call her a liar. She went from adored to despised almost overnight, and I could see the frustration on her face each time we crossed paths. Meanwhile, my page grew rapidly. People were captivated by the truth, and they saw me as the honest one who was brave enough to speak out. My followers became my supporters, and before I knew it, they started sharing pictures of me, tagging brands, and suggesting me for modeling gigs. I didn't ask for any of this, but somehow my honesty resonated with people. Brands began to reach out. Modeling offers came pouring in, and my life was turning around in ways I hadn't expected. I considered deleting my account at one point, feeling overwhelmed by the sudden attention. But my followers begged me to stay, reassuring me that they valued me for who I was, not just because I was Leah's sister. Meanwhile, Leah's life became increasingly unbearable. Whenever she stepped outside, people would point, whisper, and sometimes throw things at her. Eggs, tomatoes, even trash. It reached a point where she couldn't go anywhere without facing the consequences of her lies. Eventually, she couldn't take it anymore. Our mother convinced her to make a public apology. Leah went live, tearfully admitting that she'd lied about our family, her relationships, and her life. But by then, her fans had moved on. They'd invested too much emotion in her only to be deceived, and they weren't ready to forgive her. After the apology, she decided to leave town and live with our grandmother, who lived on a farm far away. Grandma was known for her strict, no-nonsense approach to life, and if anyone could set Leah straight, it was her. Before leaving, our mom made her apologize to me and to our family privately. Leah did, but the regret in her eyes couldn't erase what she'd done. With Leah gone, I continued to focus on my new opportunities, but I never forgot she was still my sister. As much as I was hurt by her betrayal, I couldn't just abandon her completely. She needed guidance, someone to help her grow and take responsibility, so I decided to support her education from a distance. I paid for her college tuition, though I knew how embarrassing it must have been for her to accept my help. But Leah had no choice. Without my support, she wouldn't be able to afford college. Despite everything, I took care of my family. I moved our parents into a better home and made sure they had everything they needed. The fame and wealth that came my way weren't things I'd planned for, but I used them to give back to the people who'd always supported me. As for Leah, I heard my grandmother makes her work on the farm every day after school. My grandmother is very strict with her and has restricted her from using social media. I hope she changes for the better. Sometimes I visit her and give her some money, but she can't look me in the eye. She's too ashamed and guilty about what she did in the past. Sometimes, I wonder if Leah will ever truly change, if she'll ever stop seeing life as a competition. But for now, I'm content knowing that I did what I could to give her a second chance. Whether or not she takes it is up to her. As for me, I've finally found my own path, one that doesn't revolve around anyone else's shadow. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more amazing stories.